Howdy, lieutenants and economists.
The most volatile, evil, disgusting things on the planet, humans. If you have a video request, you can always go to assholeconsulting.com.
Yeah, I am gonna charge you, kids. And that is the importance of not fucking up.
You are such an asshole!
Hey everybody, old Cappy here, and we got a video request, and we're on the road here. We're in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which I found out was the Capitol because there's a funny looking Capitol building over there. Hi Captain, I recently ran across something I can't get around my head to the point that I'm willing to pay for a video giving your take on the topic. You've probably heard of Belle Knox, the Duke porn star. If not, a quick Google search will fix that. I am aware, yeah. You had to be under a rock not to know about her. I was recently bored and had the time on my hands, so I watched a few YouTube videos of interviews with her and came away with a major case of what the fuck. Miss Knox is bright enough to get into Duke University. Assumption mistake number one. You can, just because you take tests really good and you end up going to Yale or Duke does not mean you're actually smart, let alone street smart. What's her name got destroyed by Neil Cavuto, and this gal was in Yale, our best, so especially today, just because you're in college doesn't mean jack shit. Probably means you're dumber than hell to fork over that kind of money. She claims she's a libertarian and even joined the Duke Republican Club, possibly doubling their membership, and even better, she's smart enough that she looked at the cost of attending Duke, realized her family couldn't afford it, wasn't willing to take $200,000 on in debt, and realizing that no other job she was qualified for would pay well enough, went into porn to finance her education. Okay, the porn thing is debatable, although I have no problem with it, but otherwise it seems like for an 18-year-old, she has her act together. But she proudly is majoring in women's studies. In one interview I saw, she even mentioned that she's got issues with the overtly Marxist tilt of the course material. My problem, how could someone be simultaneously smart enough to realize what a trap student loans are and dumb enough to spend $200,000 plus on a worthless degree? It confuses me enough that I'm willing to pay for any insights you have on this. Thanks for your time, Charlie. Well, thank you, Charlie. We could go about it two ways. We operate from the premise that she is smart and that there's a line of logical reasoning she is using that we just don't see. Or we operate from the premise she doesn't know what the fuck she's doing because she's an 18-year-old child. Statistically likely speaking, she's an 18-year-old child. She doesn't know what she's doing, and her behaviors are not going to make any sense. Now, naturally, she has some kind of logical reasoning for what she did. Everybody does, but so do mass murderers and rapists and terrorists. It doesn't mean it's maybe logical in their mind, but doesn't make it right or sane or based in reality. So that's the easiest excuse. There's 300 million people on this planet. Some of them are just going to be plain goofy and dumber than shit. I mean, and there's no way you can explain it. The other way that we can look at it, where you're dealing with a rational person who's making informed decisions. Yes, I agree with you that, I even did a video on it, that women need to cash in their chips because the number one asset women have is their youth and their looks. And it's not an opinion, it's the fact. Women are never going to have a product that is in as much demand as their beauty and looks in their lives. You will never have half the world's population willing to pay you, willing to cut you cuts and give you special discounts and make the world and lay down their coats than a woman with. You'll never have that again. Once you're pretty much 40, it's over. It's done. If it's not gone, it's on the way out. So, again, as an economist, and I'm sure for more libertarian or libertine, free to be you and me kind of reasons, you're okay with the girl going into porn. But the porn is an interesting thing, especially given the internet today. You don't need to star in porn. You don't need to actually participate in fornicating and filming it. The internet is so vast and wide nowadays that I recommend this to many young women. You don't have to strip, you don't have to be an escort, you don't have to prostitute, you don't have to do porn. You can do a cute lingerie site. You just have to be a cute girl. And if you spew conservative talking points in a stretch of an imagination that's kind of porn. Where guys are like, hey, she's pretty. She likes low taxes. You don't have to like get into the down and dirty. So what it leads me to believe is she probably looked at it but wasn't that great of a businesswoman. She's like, oh, like these guys are gonna pay me how much money to do porn? Okay, when it's like, dear, you could just set up your own website, not have to share any of the profits because you're the asset, you're the product. In the end, it's your beauty and looks. So you could go, if you want to be dirty and nasty, you could become a webcam girl. If you want to be you could do that yourself. You don't need a manager taking Lord knows what percentage of the profits. So she's not a very smart businesswoman. But I would say she probably came from a poor family, had no business acumen about her, saw the opportunity to make a lot of money, and then the women's studies thing, you can do anything you want in slut shaming. So whereas on one aspect she has maybe a little bit more of a capitalist free market mind, on the other hand she's not smart enough to realize she's getting screwed over by the guys filming the porn, and also not smart enough to know the brainwashing lies that comes from feminists. She ID'd the Marxism, but well, I can do anything, and I'm not a slut. It's an art form, or whatever. Fine, it can be an art form. I'm not against porn. In some capacity, it is, but you're dealing with someone who's just not that smart. I think that's what it was. So she could join the conservatives or the Republicans, the libertarians. Then contradictory, major in women's studies. I don't think she was that good, or and more proof she wasn't that smart. Couldn't get into engineering. Well, I got to go to college for something, and then says, well, I could pay for this with porn. It sounds like this girl has like a really average IQ, maybe even a little bit below average, and is being taken advantage of by the guys filming the porn, by the women's studies department and the professors taking her for all the money and going to the bank. And then the media, where she goes on the media, I remember she was, not terribly crafty or savvy when being interviewed. So that's it. But again, that's the only real reasonable or logical explanation I could explain for her actions. But it's more likely she just doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. I mean, that's a simple. Not everybody behaves rationally or logically, and boy, God Almighty, a lot of people don't. So don't lose sleep over it. It's not going to make sense because this person is not making sense. This person does not have, or this person has flawed logic, and that's what you're witnessing. So, anyway, hope that helped out and answered your question. And you could sleep tonight. Toodles.